So, yeah, this is not the best use of closet space, especially for holding Amiga stuff.
This computer will rule the world.
Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. And finally, got a nice little stand to get the old 500 and CD32 out there. Now, the main part of this whole video, and probably why you've come to click on it, is not to see me organize my closet. Oh yeah, we're going back into the 2500. Got this 6840 I'm going to put in here. Yeah, going to get the 6840 going in the 2500. Well, welcome back to Hold and Modify, as promised. Here's the Amiga 2500. Hold and Modify is, if you don't know, YouTube's most poorly produced, underproduced Amiga channel. And today, we're on my new amazing folding table, which you saw at the bumper there. So this is not really a complicated thing we need to do here. You'll see this wonderful, not really meant to stop static bag. So I should probably address this and at least put a piece of paper under this, although it hasn't had any problems. I do think I might have a custom 3D printed tray for this. I have to check. I know I have one in my Amiga 3000 from Mr. Chris Edwards. I don't know if I had one for this. I've forgotten. It's been a long time since I've been able to get into my Amigas. Along here is the stock Commodore 68030 accelerator, okay? It's pretty decent accelerator. Over here is the GVP, I think it's like an HD8 Plus accelerator. Normally you'd have like a Commodore 2091 in here, I believe, but someone had, whoever owned this before me, it's a person from Michigan, by the way, which I thought was kind of a neat little connection. They replaced it with this GVP, and then they put on some GVP fast memory, and they had a upgraded, SCSI hard drive. So I'm using that SCSI controller, and what we're going to put in there, a lot of people are like, well, what kind of GVP or Pi? No. As I said in the bumper, it is a 6840, but it's actually one of the 6840s that aren't as, I don't know, a lot of people don't seem to remember these as much, but it's the Progressive Peripherals and Software's 68040. And this sucker comes with a pile of RAM over here. There's actually one extra slot still. And it has a cooling fan on that 040. If memory serves, this might be a 40 megahertz 040, but I'm not sure. So don't count me on that. Find this interesting little bodge for the fan there. That's I'm assuming that's factory spec, not sure. So I'm going to go ahead and get this sucker in here. And I bought this so long ago and got a super good deal on it, and no one seemed to be aware of it when it was on eBay, so I snagged it for a good price. I don't know if it works, so we're going to find out. Cue the montage! Alright, so there's going to be a lot of camera wobble. I am going to try and remove that in post-production editing, but if I can't get rid of it all, I'm just going to cut around a lot of this. Come on, girl! You can do it. Wait, am I missing anything else? Those are interesting. Those are just loose in there. Oh, no. Oh my gosh. Well, this is a good thing I'm opening this up. These are not supposed to be loose in there. There's little nuts that go on the back of them that hold them in. It's floating around on the motherboard somewhere.
I always do that. I always mess up some mundane detail.
Well, this 2500 install just got a lot more complicated. I'm going to have to lift some things out so I can do some shake and bake here and try and find that nut. 68030 from Commodore. It is a wonderful card, but we are going to give it a little boost. Now, let's see if I get lucky and I can just do the old, flippity dingus. Oh, wow. All kinds of things fell out. We got a little plastic nubbin thing came out. We got our suspect nut. And look at this. We got an extra screw. All right. Hold and Modify, YouTube's most poorly produced, underproduced Amiga channel coming at you. Yeah. So that screw, I believe, was in the motherboard right here. It was supposed to be holding that down. Let's see if it is just indeed loose, or just was never tightened. How about that? It was just never tightened. I just keep nailing it, don't I? do what they all do. Just come in here and be really mindful of that bodgy fan thing they've got going on there. Yeah. Oh, I messed that all up already. All right. Okay. Oh, and there we go. And that is pretty. I'm going to secure that actually because it's wanting to move a lot. See? Look at that. No, that wasn't such a chore now, was it? All right, so the other thing I had was this cool thing. This is a SD thingy, though, for the back panel. That's not the same thing that I needed. I mean, I could just throw it in there to give it something to sit on, but I'll just use a piece of paper. All right, let's get this plugged back in. Our SCSI. And yeah, this is the Zulu SCSI I'm using in the 3000 and in the 2000. I've got a video on this. You can smash up my channel to find it. Ooh, it's actually right next to our paper. Eee. Q. We will secure our Commodore in the bag that the 040 came in. All right, so it's time to just go ahead and put the cover back on. Of course, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to plug it into a monitor, power, and get the keyboard and mouse going, and then we're going to see what happens. So it's using the RGB to HDMI over here, which I showed in another video for this. So I'm going to have a TV set, essentially, with HDMI. And I'm using a Amiga 3000 mouse and Amiga 3000 keyboard because that is all I have, because I never got a 2000 keyboard and mouse. So I have an Amiga 3000. I have two Amiga 3000 keyboards, and I had two Amiga 3000 mice. But for all the awesome work that Chris Edwards has done, I went ahead and set one his way. Okay, so we are monitored up here, and got the keyboard, got the mouse, which I don't actually know if it works. Got some protection. Nothing looks like it's shorting out. Enough stalling. Let's turn it on. Okay. That is a great sign. Oh. Oh.
You're so stupid!
All right, well, that little problem fixed. We actually have power now. Let's go ahead and flip that switch. Oh, that 68040 has a noisy fan. Oh, joy. Oh, that's just a lovely sound. Hmm. Do we have... I'm going to turn on, I'm going to keep the camera on the hard drive light while I look at the Zulu SCSI myself and its indicator lights, just to make sure. All right. So, got the initial flick, which is good. RGB to HDMI booted. But a no-go on the 040 booting. Well, time to make a phone call.
Hello, Dr. Chris.
Hey, Chris, it's Q.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, man. So, yeah, I just got one of these PPNS, Progressive Peripherals and Software. I can never say that right. Anyway, it's a 16040 accelerator for my 2500. I plug the stupid thing in there, and I get a cold boot. Nothing happens.
Do you have any other cards in the Amiga?
You know, I do. I've got the, what is it? It's a GVP, like HC8 or something. It's a SCSI memory card thing.
Does it have any RAM on it?
Yeah, I think it's got like 2 or 4 megs or something.
What you can do is a lot of times those progressive cards have a weird scenario where they will toss some workbench RAM and they kind of overlap into some other card memory. So on the GVP card, see if you can find some jumpers to turn that RAM off on the GVP card, and then the progressive card you can set for either 2, 4, 6, or 8 megs of workbench RAM, and then once the card boots, there's software that adds the RAM before set patch loads into workbench.
Oh, Awesome. Okay, so just don't use any of the RAM on the GVP. Use all the awesome RAM on the progressive card, and then the software that I'll install will kind of set it all up for me. Okay, that's cool. I just got to get those jumpers. I'll go to the website, get the jumper configuration, and cool. All right. Well, thanks, man.
All right. Have a great one.
You too.
See ya.
All right, we are back up again, and yeah, sure enough, now we have our 1 mega chip and our 3 megs of fast memory. Now, this card has more than 3 megs of fast memory on it. Now, we're not using any of the memory on the GVP card. As I said, we had to jumper that away because it clashes with this 68040. But in order to get this to boot at a safe level, because of how memory is mapped and way above my understanding of how this stuff works, good old Dr. Chris went ahead and got me the jumper settings for this to at least get us 3 megs of fast memory. Now the rest of that memory needs to be configured in software, and that way it does its weird magic to remap and merge and blend and stick it all into 32-bit address space or something, I'm told. I don't really understand that part. So I've went ahead and made the boot disk, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Do we want to do that, I guess? I guess we can try the installer. Those usually work great. The fan on this thing is obnoxious. It's really bad. I'm absolutely going to have to replace it, but I may have to modify the floppy drive tray in this 2500 because it is really, 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 look at that. You can see right there. It is just right up against it. So that is not great. Now it's asking me what I have. I have the 040 2000. Where should I install the 68040 drawer? Yeah, I like to keep that high-level stuff in the system drawer. That's fine. So it's going to go ahead and dump its magic in there. Now, I don't know how much of this is automated, if I need to do anything, if it's going to map all this stuff. Oh, should I add the init line? Sure. Now, that line is supposed to happen before some other set patch commands. I don't know if it did that or not. Let's go in here. So if you run this, it'll actually let you know if anything's working. But what I'm going to do right now is reboot just to see if, you know, that did anything that's going to work, or if I just killed my startup sequence. Go, 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 go. All right. So now that we are completely booted, we have 16 megabytes of fast memory. Look at that. It actually did something automated and it worked. Hey, cool. So I bet if we go to that software and say CPO4, blah, blah, blah. So all the caches and bursts are enabled. That's great. Man, I love installers that actually do stuff. It's interesting. 030, 040 switch. Now, of course, this has an onboard 68,000. Now, do I have our wonderful sysinfo in here? I do. And sure enough, caches are all on. Copybacks and things, 68040, 6882. MMU is not in use. Okay, that's interesting. The MMU is not in use. I do have, actually, yeah, no, I do have the MUI libs installed on here because this is 3.2.1. If we go to memory, we are seeing the 2 megs 32-bit, 10 megs 32-bit, 4 megs fast. Okay, I wonder if that's the GVP, but it's turned off. That's strange. 1 meg chip. Yeah, so that's an interesting memory layout there. And of course, we'll go to speed. 21.62 MIPS and 5.34 MFLOPS. Wow, Motorola. There you go. That's yeah, that's actually a little faster than the Amiga 4000's 040. Now this is a 20. Yeah, see, it's coming in at 28.5 megahertz, so I just get a little bump there. And I mean, the MMU thing, not really sure why that didn't work. Maybe there's some lines you can add, or maybe this card just doesn't support it. It's not that big of a deal. It's just getting that kickstart mapped into the memory on the board that's fast. Not really that big of a deal. But yeah, there we go. We've got the PP&S 040 in there, and I'm going to go ahead and button it up and put the case back on to help reduce some of this noise. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to replace that fan to really get rid of that noise. And you might notice this looks a little different. It still has the 16 megs of fast memory, but the workbench looks a little different from the last time you saw it. Now, why is that? That is because Q blew up his Zulu SCSI card again by plugging the floppy connector in the wrong way. Yeah, yes, I know. How could you do that twice? I did it twice on the same system, and it's because this particular 2500, the floppy connector it uses that's available for that Zulu card or the SCSI to SD card like the last one, it looks the same either way. The only way you can tell which side is right is to look at the colors, orange and yellow. And I'd been looking at them. I'd unplugged it at least 3 or 4 times during this setup, but the last time I did it, I got it wrong. It doesn't take anything but a nanosecond. Poof, magic smoke, done, toast. So I had to toss in my backup SCSI, my quantum drive. So she's in there now. And yeah, it just means I have this super, super bare bones workbench install. So what I want to do is go ahead and, well, heck, let's install something. So I figured let's install DigiPaint because why not? And I have to do it this way because this has just, it's not like I can yank out an SD card and cheat and use WinUAE, right? So yeah, this is only one disk, DigiPaint. This is one of my more favorite paint tools. I'm not really a 2D paint artist, so I found that this program was actually pretty cool. And I used to love using it. I used to create lots of fun little like mock-ups of stereos and computers, how I thought they might look in the future. It's crazy stuff. So let's go ahead and try that. I apologize for the weird angle, but this is so when filming off the screen, we don't get the crazy moire pattern that drives everyone crazy. So I'm a little further than I'd like to be. But yeah, let's go ahead and get good old DigiPaint. I did use this a lot. Now I use this on my 3000, so this should definitely work. So I don't know if this disk is any good. It looks like it might be, and this should just be a pretty simple drag over, if I remember. All right, so let's go ahead and just drag that down. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, this is a 3.2 issue. Is it asking me to assign it as I copy it over, or is it looking for the floppy? No, that was weird. I'm not sure why I did that. Why did it do that? It's like I did a drag. This is 3.2, by the way, not 3.2.1. Just not sure why it asked for that assign when I dragged the floppy into Workbench. Okay, so that 30-year-old floppy worked nicely. Go ahead and hit eject on it. Well, I'm glad I actually own it. All right, so let's go do that. Please consult your manual, page 12. Uh-oh. Do we not have keyboard working? Well, that's a thing. All right, well, we'll be right back. Well, welcome back, and it seems the gremlins in this 2500 continue. I have been unable to get the Amiga 3000 keyboards to work on this. Now, I am really trying to remember if I actually ever used the keyboard on this 2500 when I initially set up. I'm going to have to go back and watch my own videos on this to see if I did type anything, because I am not sure why this isn't working. What's going on is now when I plug in these 3000 keyboards, and I am doing this with the 2500 off, I never plug them in hot, the caps light is flashing red on the 3000 keyboards. So if anybody knows what that means, I'm sure I'll have to give Dr. Chris a call again. But that's going to do it for this video. I did get to show you some fun stuff of me tooling around inside the 2500 and getting the old 030 out and putting in the 040. Having to do some troubleshooting there with Chris to get the jumper set and configured. And we did get her up and running and booting, and we did sysinfo and got to see all the fun speed. So it is a success, right? But obviously there's a keyboard issue. You know, other than that, I think I'm going to call it quits. Thanks for watching another enthralling, drama-filled episode of Hold and Modify.
Yay, I pressed record this time.